You've seen the Jedi. You've seen the Sith. Warriors who can move objects with their minds, see the future, and deflect laser bolts with swords made of pure light. You think of them as the apex predators of the galaxy, the top of the food chain. But you're wrong. In the darkest corners of the galaxy, on forgotten worlds and in forbidden tombs, there are things that stir in the shadows. Things that don't care about your lightsaber or your mastery of the Force. In fact, some of them are drawn to it. They see that light, that power you wield, not as a weapon to be feared, but as a dinner bell. These aren't just animals. They are living nightmares. And tonight, we're going hunting. Our first stop is the forest world of Myrkr. It's a strange planet, covered in trees that somehow block the Force. For a Jedi, stepping onto this world is like going deaf and blind. That comforting cosmic energy they rely on is just gone. And it's in this silent, oppressive forest that you'll find the Vornskr. At first glance, it looks like a large, vicious dog. But then you see the whip-like tail, tipped with a venomous barb. You see the teeth, long and sharp as daggers. And you see the eyes, burning with an unnatural intelligence. Because the Vornskr has a unique talent, it can hunt using the Force. It senses Jedi, not as people, but as bright, delicious lights in the suffocating darkness of its world. When a Jedi is on Myrkr, they are stripped of their greatest weapon, while the Vornskr is using that very same energy to track their every move. Imagine that. The one thing that makes you special, the one thing that makes you powerful, is now a beacon leading a monster straight to your throat. And when it finds you, it doesn't just attack. It moves with a terrifying Force-guided precision, its venomous tail striking with lethal accuracy. The Jedi who have faced them and lived are few, and they all tell the same story. In the forests of Myrkr, you are not the hunter. You are the prey. But the Vornskr, for all its terror, is a product of nature. Our next nightmare is anything but. This creature was born from the darkest arts of the Sith. It was engineered for a single horrifying purpose: to hunt down and kill Force users. They call it the Terentatek. Picture a rancor, that hulking beast you saw in Jabba's palace. Now, make it bigger. Give it a hide so thick that a lightsaber blade barely scratches it. Cover it in venomous spines and give it massive, curved tusks dripping with poison. And then, give it an insatiable hunger, not for flesh, but for the Force itself. The Terentatek feeds on the connection that Jedi and Sith have to the living universe. It literally consumes their power, growing stronger with every kill. These abominations were created thousands of years ago by Sith alchemists, who twisted life and poured dark side energy into their creations. The result was a nearly unstoppable Jedi-killing machine. They are so attuned to the dark side that they are drawn to places steeped in its energy, like Sith tombs and temples. For centuries, the Jedi Order waged wars against them, trying to drive them to extinction. But they are almost impossible to kill. A single Terentatek could slaughter an entire squad of Jedi Knights. Their thick hides deflected lightsaber strikes, and their venomous claws could poison a Jedi with a single scratch, cutting them off from the Force before delivering the final blow. Even after the Jedi thought they had wiped them all out, they would always reappear, hibernating for centuries in forgotten tombs, waiting for the scent of a powerful Force user to awaken their ancient hunger. The Terentatek is more than a monster. It's a living weapon, a symbol of the Sith's hatred for the Jedi, a nightmare of claws and poison that will never, ever stop hunting you. But not all horrors have claws and teeth. Some are far more insidious. On the planet Geonosis, A desperate Jedi Master discovered a horror that doesn't attack the body, but the mind. They are called brain worms. These pale, segmented parasites are small, but their method of attack is the stuff of absolute terror. They enter a host through the nose or mouth, burrowing their way directly into the brain. Once inside, it's over. The worm seizes control of the host's motor functions. The victim is still there, conscious, aware, but they are a prisoner in their own body. They are forced to watch as their hands move on their own, as their mouth speaks words they didn't choose. They become a puppet, a walking corpse animated by the will of the parasite. The Clone Wars saw entire platoons of soldiers turned against their brothers, their eyes vacant, their movements jerky, all controlled by the worms in their heads. And the worst part? The worms can force their hosts to infect others, spreading the nightmare like a plague until an entire army is nothing more than a collection of meat puppets, their consciousnesses screaming from a prison of bone. From the microscopic to the monolithic, the galaxy's horrors come in all sizes. Travel to the desert worlds of the Outer Rim, and you might find a sarlacc. You might not even see it. All you'll see is a giant pit in the sand, lined with rows upon rows of needle-sharp teeth, and a single, massive tentacle emerging from its center. But the pit isn't a mouth. The entire pit is the creature. Falling into the sarlacc is a fate worse than any quick death. Its tentacles will grab you, and its mind will invade yours. It paralyzes its victims, keeping them alive and conscious as it slowly pulls them into its stomach. And then the real horror begins. The sarlacc's digestive system takes 1,000 years to break down its prey. 1,000 years. You are kept alive in constant, unimaginable agony for a millennium, your body slowly being dissolved while the creature feeds on your terror. It's a sentence of eternal suffering, a living hell from which there is no escape. The galaxy is full of these nightmares. There are the Acklays of Vendaxa, giant praying mantis-like creatures with 6 legs and a screech that can paralyze you with fear. There are the massive Zillo beasts, whose armored hides are completely impervious to any weapon, including lightsabers. There are even creatures that live in the vacuum of space, like the colossal space slugs that make their homes in asteroids, large enough to swallow a starship whole. Each of these creatures represents a fundamental truth of the Star Wars galaxy that the Jedi and Sith often forget. That for all their power, for all their cosmic understanding, they are still just specks of life in a universe that is ancient, vast, and deeply hostile. There are things in the dark that were old when the first Sith was born, and things that will still be there long after the last Jedi has died. These creatures are not evil. They are simply hungry. They are a reminder that no matter how bright your lightsaber shines, the darkness is always waiting, and it has teeth.